What's up, guys? And what's up, guys? Welcome to Box Football, and we're here with another week of Premier League football. What are we on, week 13 or 12? Yeah, week 12. So we're in week 12 of Premier League football. Bit of a mixed bag, a bit of a weird one. I think all the original top six, none of them actually won a game. It was quite weird. Well, let's get into the biggest game of the week that kind of disappointed was the Manchester Derby, Man United versus Man City. Game finished 0-0. Jack, what was your thoughts on the game?
Really boring. Neither coach tried to win the game, which was disappointing. The systems kind of remained as they were throughout the game. Shots were limited. Any shots that did come in were usually coming from distance and were quite comfortable for goalkeepers. Best player on the pitch was the player that touched the ball the least in Kevin De Bruyne. Manchester United, I think, did a really good job of closing him down so that he had to come even deeper and run even more to try and get himself open. But similar in many ways, I think, to the Tottenham-Chelsea game, it's a kind of match where I think both teams know that each other is dangerous. Let's not forget Manchester United had won 4 league games in a row. I think Man City are like, well, hang on, this team might be the real deal here, and then they're in some reasonable form, and maybe Solskjaer has it figured out. Whereas Solskjaer has just been knocked out of the Champions League by RB Leipzig, and he's not looking to lose a game at home in the Manchester Derby. So it really is this kind of idea of, we'll take a point. We'll look back on the season and we'll go, Manchester Derby, we played that team and we got a point, stopped them from getting 3 points. That's a good result. Same with Chelsea and Tottenham, I thought before. And I think it's the same thing. You're seeing a lot of the bigger teams dropping points left and right. A point in a game like that for both teams is probably a good result.
I feel like my more emphasis is on Man City. I think Manchester United coming off a devastating loss in the Champions League, like getting knocked out, the Paul Pogba incidents, having Martial not fit, having Cavani not fit. I look at this Man City team, and especially what they've done at Old Trafford in the past few years. Man United were definitely there for the taking, and they disappointed. Man City disappointed. They look like a team, in my opinion, that just lacks that killer instinct. And we don't really say that a lot about this Man City team. You look at the creativity, you look at the players, the ability of Riyad Mahrez, Raheem Sterling. It just looks lackluster. And when you don't have Sergio Aguero out there, who was a born killer, they don't really look like scoring at this moment of time. And it's strange because Man City went through periods of time last season without Aguero, and they were still killing off teams. They're struggling right now, and it's something that Guardiola is definitely going to look at, because the past 2-3 years they've been the Premier League's top scorer, over getting 100 goals year in year out, and they don't look like hitting it this year.
Yeah, I mean, Sterling's not been fully at it. I'm sure our listeners are absolutely sick of hearing me say this, but the fact that Manchester City did not sign a central attacking player over the summer, and they put money towards Nathan Ake, is absolutely mind-blowing to me. Absolutely mind-blowing. We know Aguero on his day can still do the business, but too injury-prone, and Jesus isn't good enough. Jesus is not good enough.
Well, when you look at a team still scoring 100 goals, I'd never ever looked at Man City's goal scoring to be an issue. But guys, let's move on. Let's talk about Everton versus Chelsea at Goodison Park. Game finish 1-0 to Everton. Penalty from, was it Gylfi Sigurdsson? Yeah, he's fake. He took the penalty well. Jack, what do you feel about the result? Disappointing from Chelsea's side?
Yeah, definitely. Good Carlo Ancelotti game plan. I know that's not going to make a lot of people particularly happy, but I'll kind of sum it up in this way. Chelsea had 72% possession, 72. That leaves Everton with 28%. Chelsea had 10 shots. Everton still had 9. So with less than half the possession that Chelsea had, they only had 1 shot fewer. With those shots, of Everton's 9 shots, they had 4 on target. Of Chelsea's 10 shots, they had 3 on target. That tells you that there's something that's happened there, because those numbers do not add up. Usually more possession leads to more shots, leads to more shots on target. Usually that's the way things go. This was a game plan specific thing set out from Carlo Ancelotti against an inexperienced manager, and generally speaking, an inexperienced team. Apart from obviously a couple of standout names in there, and yeah, they just kind of strangled the game somewhat, kept it relatively closed on Chelsea, and took their opportunities when they were there. Chelsea will. This is a result that I think Chelsea will kick themselves at the end of the year, because it's not like we're talking about the Everton team from the first 5 weeks of the season. We're talking about the Everton team that's looked a bit spotty over the last few weeks.
Yeah, I can agree with you. But like, I look at it from the point of view of the display from Everton was a good old Everton display from years gone by. You know, right. It was tough. It was gritty. They're always going to create chances at like Goodison Park, but it wasn't pretty at times. A lot of long balls out to Calvert-Lewin, who, to be fair, he won his 50-50s, he won his headers, and he was the one who won the penalty. Really good from his point of view. I thought Ancelotti's a manager that just goes with the wind. And whatever he thinks that the team needs, that's what he does. He doesn't change a team, and like it doesn't look like he's changing his Everton team. It still feels like the same old Everton, but it worked today. But I just want to touch on Chelsea. Go on.
The one thing I will say, because we have to talk about it. It's a draw if Mendy doesn't make that one mistake. Let's be honest. Ancelotti's game plan was for a draw, to kind of strangle the game, get a draw, maybe sneak a goal. Mendy doesn't make that one mistake after everyone's singing his praises. This is probably, Chelsea are probably still going to get a point from the game.
And it's a clumsy error, but one thing I really want to touch on is Frank Lampard and his press match interview, where he just gave me a realistic view of how he views the Chelsea team. He doesn't come out there and says, unlucky, we didn't do this well, or we didn't give enough heart. No, he just says that everyone really needs to calm down. I've been hearing rumors about we have the best squad in England, and yeah, we might have talented players, but we don't have players who won titles. And he's truthfully honest with everything that's going on. And he says that this is a learning process that's not going to happen over time. There's teams like Man City and Liverpool who have title-winning squads, and that's going to be the difference. He doesn't big it up. He doesn't get excited. He's realistic because he knows the Chelsea team and he knows the standard of where this team is going to be. And I love that for Frank Lampard. It was really, really brilliant and refreshing to see a young manager with a realistic view of the game and not talking about, oh yeah, we dominated, we did that. That was very, very realistic. But let's move on. Oh my days. Okay, let's move on. Arsenal versus Burnley. The game finished 1-0 to Burnley at the Emirates. First time Burnley has ever beaten Arsenal in the Premier League and also at the Emirates. Like, Burnley is struggled against Arsenal out of any other Premier League side, and somehow comes to the Emirates and win 1-0. Granit Xhaka red card, but I'm cracking up right now because I'm actually lost. But Jack, please take it away.
Capitulation. I've never been a fan of Granit Xhaka. For all anybody wants to tell me about being this kind of dynamic, all-action midfielder who doesn't have like a huge glaring weakness because he's a reasonably good passer, a reasonably good dribbler, a reasonably good tackler, all this kind of stuff. It's just not the kind of guy I think that is a good representation of the way that Arsenal should be playing football and the kind of player that should be involved in any sort of Arsenal squad. Stupid mistake. I think you and I can both agree that if we're playing on a Sunday or we're playing at Power League and somebody gets in somebody's face and somebody shoves somebody, we can shake hands, we can do whatever, we can say, okay, we'll put that behind us and we'll play on. This is the Premier League. We have rules. There is a precedent that if you touch somebody in any nature that is deemed violent, it's a red card. It was the right decision. I saw some Arsenal fans saying it might have been soft. We can agree privately that it's soft, but in the current game, it's a red card offence, and he's got to go. Apart from that, we talked about this a little bit before we started recording. Yeah, I don't know what to say about the Arsenal team anymore. I was way off. I got sucked into the optimism. of what Mikel Arteta was doing. There were so many things pointing in the right direction, trending towards something of a top 4 push, maybe even a title challenge if everybody could get rolling. That's fallen way off. I know that we'll talk about, I'm sure in a second, Arteta out, what should they do? But from this game alone, yet again, stats largely don't lie. Lots of shots from Arsenal against a low block Burnley team who just aren't going to let up many good goal scoring opportunities, and they didn't have enough creativity and sharpness to actually punish Burnley.
Basically, first 45 minutes, I thought it was quite even in the first half. Burnley had a great chance to take the lead, and then Lacazette should have gave us the lead. And Arsenal didn't really create that much. Burnley didn't really create that much, but I felt Burnley felt that they're in the game and Arsenal are there for the taking. The 15 minutes before Granit Xhaka got sent off was the best 15-minute spell we've had probably since the Fulham game. It felt like the old Arsenal. We had 3 shots on target, some very, very good clear-cut opportunities that should have been taken, wasn't, and then the moment of madness just kills the game. But even then, I still don't expect us to go out and lose the game. We do. Aubameyang own goal. We screaming out for him to score. He does score in the opposite end, but I'm just gonna look at the table right now because let me just get the realism of like the table. Okay.
If we get into some of it now, like Özil, is Özil back in the team? Is Özil starting football matches right now? I mean,
Jack.
You know my thoughts on him. He's the most talented player I've ever seen live from a standpoint of like a joy to watch, right? I love the man to bits. Should he be in the starting 11? Should he be allowed back in?
Jack, anybody with has a bit of sense and a bit of thought knows that this Mesut Ozil incident or this Mesut Ozil situation is not down to actually football reasons.
Yeah, no, of course.
It cannot be down to football reasons. How are you telling me Mesut Ozil isn't good enough to get into this Arsenal team?
Right.
Look at the midfield, and he's not good enough to get in there, regardless of if he runs or he doesn't run. Mesut Ozil could crawl on that pitch and be the best player in the midfield by Thomas Partey. It's a shambles right now, and we can go on and on about it. Just to think that we're 15th in the table, we're 5 points off the relegation zone. And I'm looking at Arsenal's next fixtures. We got Everton, Southampton, Everton, Chelsea. Come on.
So wow. I don't know how much longer you want to go on this, or whether you want to talk about it on maybe a separate video. But
we'll come back on this on a separate video because we can go on and on with this. I'm not even gonna lie. Trust me, we're gonna cover this, guys. Yeah. But let's move on right now and let's talk about Tottenham. Tottenham versus Crystal Palace. Selhurst Park. Game finished 1-0.
You called that, right?
Did I?
I think you called that. I'm pretty sure you put that as a draw as a prediction. I'm not kidding. I'll check.
That might have been an accident. But the one thing that I really got from that game was that this system that Jose Mourinho is playing, it's only going to work if they get results. If they don't get results and they perform like that, it's not. Did I actually call it?
Yeah, you called it 1-1. Fair play.
I don't know. I don't know, but just the way Tottenham set up before the equaliser, it was 30 minutes of just sitting back, withstanding pressure. And if you're going to win a title, if you win a title like that, great. But if it doesn't come off, the criticism that you're going to get for that, it's hard to come back from. And I understand this Tottenham team and Tottenham fans were going to accept it. I going to accept it if it leads to victories. But if it doesn't, it's a hard watch. And I'm not even going to lie. With all that talent on the pitch, it's a hard watch.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I think Tottenham fans are at a by any means necessary stage of silverware. It's been so long without anything. I know they get taken the piss out of left, right and centre for all that kind of stuff. And rightly so, to a certain extent. But yeah, I think it is by any means necessary now. And you make the exact point. If it is by any means necessary and they do get that end goal, then great. But if they don't and they have to watch that kind of football, not ideal. I mean, let's be honest. Kane's goal shouldn't have gone in. Any other goal I think, in the Premier League at that moment in time probably saves that goal, and maybe some backup goalkeepers for some teams.
And to be fair, the goalkeeper was the man of the match. He was absolutely brilliant. Some of the saves he made throughout the game was fantastic.
But Palace, more shots, one less on target. Okay, obviously Tottenham, had a little bit more possession here and there, but yeah, it's very interesting. This is not the level of motivation I think we thought that we would get from this Tottenham team in a game of this nature. A Jose Mourinho title push is usually winning the big games by 1 goal or drawing, and then beating all the teams they're better than. They usually don't blow like the big games out. Usually they just consistently win the easier games. And this really is one of those easier games if you look at the rest of the league. And the failure to do so, yet again, if Tottenham miss out on top 4 or the title by a couple of points, this is the kind of game they will look back on.
Yeah, let's move on to the champions now. Liverpool, who went to Craven Cottage on the weekend. Game finished 1-1. Shock result there. Scotty Parker and their boys done really well. Probably should have got the victory at the end of it. But I just want to touch on Liverpool again and Klopp's bizarre choice to start Jota, Mo Salah, and a lot of his star boys in a Champions League game, and then Jota gets injured. And then he's criticising the media for getting his players injured out. It's a bit of a weird one, Jack.
So I have a slightly different take on this than most, and this will be from some kind of podcasts and reporters and people I follow. FSG, Fenway Sports Group, the owners of the Boston Red Sox in the US, and John Henry, I believe the guy's name is, and of Liverpool. Obviously, LeBron James has got a little cut in Liverpool as well, which is kind of cool as well. But they've spent a lot of money. They bought Virgil van Dijk, they bought Alisson, they spent a lot of money over quite a short period of time. And they're getting to a point now where the finances aren't as good as maybe they would have expected on the money they meant. Coronavirus contributing to that in no small part. I think what we're seeing is a manifestation of Klopp's anger and frustration because of all the stuff he wants to happen in January. I don't think the owners at Liverpool are willing to sanction the big deals that Klopp's looking for. I think we're talking about centre-back Milan Skriniar, that's been a big link. Dayot Upamecano, another big link. These are centre-backs who are going to cost 40 million plus. Even in a coronavirus market, they'll cost that amount. Let alone the fact that you've got in their late 20s, getting to the age of like 30 now, aren't they? The front 3. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
That needs to be refreshed at some point as well. Wijnaldum hasn't signed a new deal. So there's actually plenty of things ticking away in the background that might mean that this great Liverpool team might fall apart at some point pretty soon. And if Klopp doesn't get the reinforcements and the investment that he needs, that lends itself to frustration. And how does he lash out? He doesn't go to the boardroom at Liverpool and get all pissed off and start, effing and blinding. He's going to take it out on people who don't deserve it, reporters, and largely the media. The media probably do deserve it, but hence this kind of a game. Fulham are kind of desperate. Liverpool are really hurt. Here's where we are.
Well, we're just going to touch on a quick one quickly is Southampton and their 3-0 win against Sheffield United. Sheffield United are doing some Derby County stuff this year. They haven't won a game in all 12. Only managed 1 point, but Southampton, with 12 games going, are 4th in the table with 7 wins, and you got Ward Prowse playing so well. You got Che Adams. You got who else? You got Nathan Redmond playing really well. Tough side. And Arsenal having them on Wednesday, definitely going in as favourites.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's Ralph Hasenhüttl. James Ward-Prowse has always been this player. We just haven't seen it as often because the managers haven't really allowed him to do this as captain. Corners, free kicks, all this kind of stuff. This is what he should have been doing the whole time. But managers were trying to fit in some other pieces as well. Saints look really good, but it's a Ralph Hasenhüttl thing. I think he needs to get more credit than maybe some of the players do. That's all I'm saying.
So guys, yeah, we could touch on more games right now, but I'm pretty sure you guys are sick of hearing this. So tell me, what do you think?
Sick
Tottenham,
of,
is it? Pardon?
sick of hearing me.
I'm sick of hearing me. Tottenham, is it boring football? Liverpool, what's going on with injuries? Jota now out for 8 weeks. Southampton, can they challenge for a Champions League spot? Manchester United, Man City, Arsenal. Comment down below, guys. Let us know what you think. Thank you for watching. This is Box to Box Football, and we will see you next.